world where shadows linger just beyond the edges of the everyday, one podcast dares to open the cabinet of the unknown. The Shadow Frequency invites you into a realm of cryptids, conspiracies, hauntings, and mysteries that refuse to stay buried. Each episode, host Matt Wilson and producer Juniper Ravenwood sift through the eerie files of the unexplained, uncovering chilling encounters, listener stories, and whispers from the dark. Step closer, if you dare, and tune in to the Shadow Frequency.
Okay, hang on. This file cabinet is jammed again. Why is this thing always fighting me? There, got it. What on earth is this? A basketball? Yep, somebody stuck a full-size basketball in here, and look, there's a label on it. Harlem Globetrotters Magic Ball. Okay, whoever filed that in here, we're having words later. Here we go, episode 204, Miami Mall's Shadowy Invaders Emerge.
Perfect. We got a lot to unpack tonight. Eerie reports, strange figures in a Miami shopping plaza, and a case that's got investigators scratching their heads.
Yep, this one's part mall security footage, part nightmare fuel, and if what witnesses are saying is true, we might have had some unexpected visitors from the stars.
Let's dig into the mystery. Episode 204 starts right now.
You're tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where the veil between the living and the unknown grows thin. Strange whispers, hidden truths, and things best left in the dark await. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, featuring Chris Beach. Let's step in to the shadows.
Welcome, Shadow Seekers, to another descent into the unknown on the Shadow Frequency. Tonight, we peel back the veil on a New Year's nightmare that turned a glittering Florida mall into a hunting ground for the impossible. Imagine the pulse of holiday crowds, fireworks cracking like distant thunder, and then emerging from the haze, towering silhouettes that don't belong in our world. 8 to 10 foot behemoths with eyes like glowing orbs, phasing through the chaos like smoke given form. Were these shadow invaders from another dimension, slipping through a rift in reality right there in Miami's Bayside Marketplace? Or something even more insidious, drawn to the flicker of human fear? Hold tight, the static is about to crackle with terror.
Oh, Juniper, you've got that haunted gleam in your voice again. The one that says we're about to chase ghosts through a crowded corridor. I'm already feeling the chill.
Good, that's how it starts. Over to you, Matt. Unlock the file and let the shadows spill out.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the file cabinet and unearthing this one. It's got that fresh, festering edge, like a wound still bleeding from just last year. Episode 204. The Miami Mall's Shadowy Invaders Emerge. Pull up a chair and dim the light, folks, because we're stepping into the humid night of January 1st, 2024 at Bayside Marketplace in Miami. Picture it, the air thick with the salty tang of Biscayne Bay. Laughter echoing off neon storefronts as families and revelers shake off the hangover of midnight toast. Fireworks pop sporadically, mimicking gunfire in the distance, but no one's alarmed yet. Not until the whispers start slithering through the crowd like a fog off the water. It begins innocently enough, a scuffle among teens, or so the surface story goes. But then the air shifts. Witnesses later describe it as a sudden drop in temperature, a prickling at the base of the skull, like unseen eyes boring into your soul. One young woman posting breathlessly on Reddit from a hiding spot behind a pretzel stand types, "I saw them first. Tall. So tall they blotted out the holiday lights. 8 feet, maybe 10, with bodies like swirling smoke, edges blurring into nothing. Their eyes, God, those eyes were orbs, pulsing white, like they were scanning us, tasting our fear." She wasn't alone. Across social media, accounts poured in, shadowy forms gliding between kiosks, not walking exactly, but undulating, as if the laws of gravity were just a suggestion they deigned to ignore. And the sounds? Oh, the sounds that clawed at the edges of sanity. Not screams from a brawl, but low, resonant hums vibrating through the marble floors, making teeth ache and eardrums throb. A father, shielding his kids near the food court, told TikTok followers in a shaky video, these things, they weren't human. One turned its head, impossible angle, and I swear it looked right through me, like it knew my thoughts, pulled at them like threads. Panic rippled outward from there. A wave of fleeing bodies crashing against glass doors, trampling purses and dropped phones. But here's where the veil thins further. Reports of the impossible. People lifted off the ground, not thrown in the crush, but levitated, slowly, deliberately, as if invisible hands from the ether were testing their weight. One man, interviewed live on a local stream before the signal cut, gasped, "I felt it. My feet dangling, body frozen, while this vapor, cold and electric, wrapped around me. Flashes in my head, memories that weren't mine, alien landscapes, stars screaming." The shadows multiplied, witnesses say, 3, 4, then more, materializing from thin air near the central fountain, where a strange mist coiled unnaturally, defying the ceiling fans. Gunshots? No. Those were the desperate pops of fireworks mistaken for defense. But against what? Against entities that phase through barriers, infiltrating minds with visions of vast echoing voids. Black helicopters sliced the sky overhead, rotors thumping like a heartbeat in arrhythmia, while squad cars, hundreds of them, sealed the perimeter, lights strobing against the night like a ritual gone wrong. The air grew heavy with that vapor, acrid and alive, clinging to clothes, seeping into lungs, leaving survivors with nightmares that replayed not the chaos, but the intruder's silent promise, "We're here, and we're watching." As the first half fades, ask yourself, in a place built for commerce and cheer, how does the veil between worlds tear so easily? What hunger drew these shadow frequencies to Miami's heart?
Matt, my skin's crawling just picturing those orbs locking on. Like they're still out there, waiting for the next crowd to sift through. What's lurking in the second file?
Deeper we go, Juniper. Stick around. After the break, things get even murkier.
Halfway through and already the air feels thicker, doesn't it? Those Miami shadows, levitating victims, mind-probing vapors, it's the kind of case that lingers, making you glance over your shoulder in empty hallways. What would you do if those orbs flickered to life in your peripheral? Listeners, hit us with your shudders. We're just warming up the really twisted layers. Over to Chris for a quick word and then back to the static.
You got it, Juniper. If you're loving the Shadow Frequency, please like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all major podcast directories. Visit our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com to catch all our episodes. Leave a voicemail telling us where you're listening from. We might feature it in our next episode. Check out our Shadow blog for companion articles to our episodes, grab some cool swag from our store, or support us by buying us a coffee. Now let's get back over to Juniper for a dive into the mailbag, where we share your thoughts and stories. Back to you, Juniper.
Thanks, Chris. Time to ignite the ethereal astral dispatch decoder. Cranking the dials, watch the gears grind through the ether. Oh, look, a peculiar missive materializing from the void.
Message retrieved from the void.
Let's crack the seal and uncover what our spectral correspondent whispered into the frequencies. All right, Shadows, we've got a gem drifting in from the listener veil here. This one's got that perfect blend of cozy dread and cosmic cheer. Let's lean in close. It says, "Hi, Matt and Juniper. My name's Renee from Colorado, and I just wanted to say how much I enjoy the Shadow frequency. I usually listen on Spotify during my evening walks, and sometimes I catch the episodes again on YouTube when I get home. Your mix of creepy history, UFO sightings, and cryptid stories make my walks feel extra eerie in the best way possible. Keep up the great work and never stop opening that file cabinet. See you in the shadows, Renee." Oh, Renee, you're the kind of walker who turns twilight trails into threshold zones, those UFO whispers hitting different under a starry Colorado sky. We feel seen. Or maybe that's just the shadows playing tricks. Keep those eerie strolls coming. Who knows what might follow you home next time. And hey, if you got your own brush with the bizarre, beam it our way. Reminder, drop your dispatches to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Back to you, Matt, for the second half awaits. And I sense the frequencies shifting darker.
Juniper, that mailbag's a lifeline in the fog, reminds us we're not alone in these hunts. But let's plunge back into the Miami file, where the shadows don't just lurk, they evolve. Picking up from the chaos as the horde of police cruisers formed an iron ring around Bayside, over 60 vehicles, lights carving eldritch patterns into the mist, eyewitnesses huddled in alcoves, phones trembling in their hands. One clip, grainy but gut-wrenching, captures a teen sprinting past yelling into his live feed. "They're not solid. Bullets went right through. One cop fired and it just dissolved into smoke, then reformed behind him." The vapors thickened, then a choking fog that wasn't from any extinguisher or tear gas, but something primordial, carrying whispers, fragmented thoughts, alien geometrics, flashing unbidden into minds like psychic shrapnel. Deeper dives into the accounts reveal the infiltration's true horror, not just levitation, but full body suspensions, victims reporting a pull from above, bodies hovering inches off the tile as those orb eyes locked on, probing. A woman from the upper level, her voice cracking in a Reddit thread days later, wrote, "It felt like my memories were being rifled through. Childhood beaches turned to endless black voids. Voices not my own murmuring in language that burned my brain. Then release, dropped like a discarded toy. And the forms, evolving. Initial sightings pegged them as static shadows, but survivors sketched hybrids, elongated limbs trailing wisps, heads tilting at angles that defied bone, eyes not just glowing but projecting, holographic bursts of otherworldly vistas, cities floating in crimson skies, black helicopters circled tighter, their searchlights slicing futilely through the haze, while ground teams in hazmat gear unconfirmed but whispered in frantic DMs, hosed down residue that evaporated on contact, leaving scorched outlines on the pavement. The evacuation stretched hours, cordons holding as the hum faded into a mocking silence. But the residue lingered, reports of echoes, phantom tugs at ankles in dreams, fleeting scents of ozone and decay. Paranormal investigators, drawn like moths, later claimed EVP captures, guttural chants layering portal and return, as if the rift hadn't fully sealed. It's a tapestry of terror, woven from raw fear, towering invaders who didn't conquer with force, but with the slow unraveling of the mind. Yet, and here's a thread to tug at, something to gnaw on amid the dread. One viral witness video, the one with the graffiti guy ranting about a portal machine kids allegedly triggered. Turns out he recanted months later on TikTok, admitting it was exaggerated for views, a hoax stitched from panic and poor lighting. Shadows cast by fleeing crowds, fireworks, glare twisting into orbs. Could the whole symphony of horror be mass hysteria amplified by social media's echo chamber? A rational lens cracks the illusion, but does it? The hum in those EVPs still chills me. What if the real infiltration was belief itself, slipping through our collective doubts? Either way, the file closes unresolved, a mall forever marked, its frequencies forever shadowed. I will say this, if you take the coordinates of that Miami mall and reverse them, say maybe the creatures made a mistake, it takes you to Antarctica. Something to think about. You can sleep tight, listeners, or don't.
Whoa, Matt, that recant hit like cold water on a fever dream, but those EVP whispers still got me side-eyeing my ceiling fan. You're a master at leaving us unmoored.
Just how the shadows like it, Juniper. Wrap us up. I've got a sudden urge to double-check the locks.
What a plunge tonight. Towering shadow invaders crashing Miami's New Year's glow, levitating the unwary, seeding minds with forbidden flashes, from orbs in the fog to the faint hum that won't quit. This file is like a reminder the veil's thinner than we think, and something's always listening. Thanks for braving the static with the Shadow family. Your company makes the dark a little less lonely. Swing by Shadow Podcast at protonmail.com with your own eerie dispatches, and you can haunt our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com and stalk us on socials, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble for bonus chills and listener spotlights. Hey, Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, Seekers. May your dreams stay earthbound, or at least warn you if they don't.
And with that, we fade to black. Until the next rift opens, stay vigilant, stay strange. Sweet shadows.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.